right, welcome back, everyone, to the daily briefing. Lot to go over. Something that right off the bat, something that trends. Okay, that that's again what we're trying to look here is kind of spot trends, maybe spot a little more longer term ideas. Again, I always hate to do the intro every episode, but remember, mornings are more. What's the hot stock of the day? What's the big runner? What's the crazy low floater of the day? Midday is more overall market methodology, what we're thinking about, etc. So one of the biggest things is oil versus technology. Okay, and I also try and avoid saying, I said this already. But if you a week ago, I think it was one of the weekend briefings. Yeah, I think it was the first weekend briefing when I had the Hawaiian shirt and the sunglasses on. I talked about, we brought up that article about, I think it was a Barron's article about tech stocks being overvalued. And I'm like, you cannot overvalue a technology stock in 2020. I mean, how do you accurately put a number on Apple or Facebook or Google or Amazon? And we're seeing that with earnings, okay? Everyone's like, oh, Apple's up too much, Amazon's up too much, Facebook's up too much. They announce earnings, everyone's shocked. If you're on the Stocks to Trade daily briefing, how could you have possibly been surprised by the numbers coming out of the Amazons, the Apples, the Googles, the Facebooks? I mean, it's wild, and that's what actually gets me excited about doing this stuff, because the mainstream media, CNBC, wherever you're getting, listen, I brag about the Wall Street Journal, but Wall Street Journal's calling these stocks overvalued. There is so much money in the markets right now. I'll reference another one. Last Saturday, we talked about that everyone's a day trader article. I mean, when everyone's a day trader, when there's no sports betting, when everyone's stuck at home, when a lot of people are out of work, there is basically, I hate to use the word unlimited, but there's like unlimited money flow coming in. And I don't see how you can properly value an Apple, a Google, an Amazon, or a Facebook. So then also today, ExxonMobil, worst earnings ever or something like that. I mean, it's just such a representation. Who would be investing long-term holding a freaking oil company right now when you could be buying Apple? It baffles me, the logic sometimes. Again, respect for ExxonMobil, 100-year-old company, changed the world. They changed the world. The oil companies. I mean, listen, the reason we have iPhones, the reason we have the internet, the reason we have all of these amazing technology advancements is because of oil. I mean, energy. Okay? You didn't have an iPhone in 1800 because everyone was sitting there trying to keep cutting wood or shoveling coal to heat stuff or to keep the lights on. Energy independence gives you time to sit down there, when you don't have to worry about starting a fire, when you don't have to worry about candlelight. Now you can invent an iPhone, you can invent the internet, you can invent an Amazon, a Google, a Facebook. You could program, you can't program a social media network without electricity. So the business cycle, are you guys familiar with the business cycle? It's just, at some point, businesses become obsolete. Okay? So Google the business cycle. There's an Investopedia article. There's a Wikipedia article. You should be familiar with how these things work. So thank you to ExxonMobil. Thank you to all of the oil companies, but you're doomed. Okay? So why would it be no surprise that oil and gas is down and technology is up? To someone who thinks logically. Okay? So that's the biggest themes we want to look at, and I've got a couple articles here. This Wall Street Journal article A cloud surge lifts Amazon, Microsoft, and Google's earnings. Wow, what a shock. Everyone's forced to work from home, and these remote work plays, cloud-based plays, are blowing out the earnings. Can't believe that. Who saw that coming? Maybe I started the daily briefing like a month ago. I probably talked about cloud computing back then. So, and here's the thing: they all stand to benefit from the virus stuff. I mean that's another bullet. I always try and avoid coming on here with the virus news. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I don't know if you guys notice. I actively make a point to not discuss the virus stuff because it's so much fear mongering and it's everywhere. You're inundated. You're inundated with X amount of cases, X amount of deaths, this country, that country. So I actively try to avoid all that. But we saw baseball. I don't know if you saw today. Baseball's canceling a bunch of games. Spain had a spike. I just think, the cloud computing, the remote work, the e-education plays. Okay, I've actually got a newsletter. I'm writing a newsletter right now on the e-education plays that I think are going to be hot, especially because, hey, tomorrow's August. Tomorrow's August. Everyone's going to be talking about back to school. And I've got a couple really interesting e-education plays that are on that newsletter. So, yeah, I think, again, long-term ideas, cloud computing, remote work, etc. And then just another article here about, Exxon and Chevron earnings gutted by virus. This is what drives me nuts. Exxon and Chevron are blaming the virus. Listen, Mr. Exxon and Mr. Chevron, nobody's buying oil because nobody wants oil anymore, okay? You should be blaming Elon Musk and not the virus, okay? I'll tell you what, Mr. Exxon and Mr. Chevron, you better get ready for another excuse next quarter. What's your quarter going to be next, when your earnings tank you again? So yeah, I mean, my point is, short, if you're looking for a thesis, long cloud computing technology, social media, Apple, Amazon, short old line energy companies, long green energy. I mean, wind, solar. It's just they're going to rise. Oil is fading. Go back to that that business cycle I talked about. So, other thing, kind of cool. Apple's doing another reason. I know this is kind of like the Apple webinar, but they're doing a split, and I love it. I tell you. So they're doing a 1 for 4 split. So Apple will drop to, not drop, but Apple will reprice at about $100 a share. Love it. I mean, because now why do I love that? When you get these lofty share prices, I mean, you guys know this. A lot of you are probably new and you have smaller accounts. It's hard to buy $400 stocks. I mean, what do you get? 3 shares? 5 shares? Maybe 10 shares? So what's nice about the split is it runs the price, reprices down to $100 and just makes it more acceptable. Now, I would say this, Mr. Tim Cook. I've appealed to Elon Musk on the daily briefing, but Mr. Cook, why do 4 for 1? Why not do 4 or 1 for 4? Why not do 40? Get Apple down to $10 a share. I mean, because we know the lower the price, the more Robin Hooders you're going to get. So, Mr. Cook, I have a tip. 400. One for 400 or 400 for 1. The problem is, you guys know, I trade a lot of reverse splits, so I keep thinking reverse split. But anyway, 400 for 1. 1 for 400. I keep doing it. Anyway, reprice Apple at $1 a share. and then, I mean, Apple would probably double overnight because of Robinhood. If they split it down to $1, it'd probably double the same day. I don't care if it is. Look, Apple's a $2 trillion market cap. If you split it down to $100 or $1, it'd probably double the same day. So that being said, Elon, Apple did it. My man, Elon. I've said this forever. I mean, Tesla is like the most heavily shorted stock in the universe. Just think if the idiot Elon, I'm telling you, if idiot penny stock traders could short your stock, you think it was a squeeze from 400 to 1800? That's just the beginning. If idiot penny stockers, they're clueless to just short any stock that's up on the day. Hey, look, this stock's up 20%. I'm going to short it. Tesla would, if he split it down to like $1.50 instead of 1,500, it'd probably be $10 2 days later. All right, everyone. So good stuff today. I enjoy these. Hopefully you enjoy them. Remember, these are all just my opinions. Okay, all just an opinion piece. Couple things I want to remind you about. Great podcast this week. A lot of people raving. It was a cool one. The guest was a poker player turned trader, and Steven and him had a fun conversation because Steven's an he was a poker player too. Remember to get on the watch list. Goes out Sunday, and then last two things live tomorrow at noon. Weekend daily briefing. We've had some great weekend daily briefings, and then Sunday night at 6:15 p.m. for the opening of futures. No, there's no Q&A during the daily briefing. That's why you should be here at 8:30 in the morning. You should be here at 8:30. I do Q&A every single day. So, all right, everyone. Have a great day. Again, check out hit our link in bio. You can get the podcast. You can get the YouTube. You can get the watch list. All these links I talk about are on the link in bio. Have a great weekend, and, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Noon. All of you. Every one of you. Noon sharp.